This is how to get past "you're too expensive" on a sales call. I'm Alex Berman from Experiment 27. I got this as a comment on one of the last YouTube videos you saw. How do you justify your price if you reveal it on the first call? What you guys might know is I recommend always being very upfront about your pricing, even as an agency, and trying to get a budget on that very first call. And this guy pushed back. He said, how do you justify that if you reveal it on the first call? There might be people who think, there might be many people who do it cheaper, but compromise on the quality. And then he says, without showing the value first, we can't give away a price because we'll be out of the league completely. Now, that is a misconception, and I'm going to show you why his logic is flawed. Not that he's seeing it wrong, but he just hasn't practiced enough. And I'll show you exactly how to get through this guy's misconception in this video, so that you'll never be laughed out of the room for being expensive again after watching this video. That is my goal. So let's accomplish it together. Fair price means that you just have to justify the quality delivered. What this means is a broken app, even if it costs $400, is expensive because you wasted $400. A working app that drives real business value and grows a company could be worth millions of dollars, even if it's a similar type of app. And that is the justification that you need to go through during these sales calls. And in a few minutes, I'll give you the 3 reasons or 3 examples that you'll be able to use on those specific calls in order to get that quality justification, in order to get that piece correct. So on a sales call, this is normally how it's going to flow. You're going to say, you're going to give the budget, like, hey, this app is going to be $500,000. Wait a second, they might say something, they might not. Then you say, is that what you had in mind? Right? That'll kind of open the floor for them to give feedback. And then either they'll say, yeah, that sounds about right. Or they'll say this, which is, I was thinking something more around 300K, right? You said 500K, they want 300K. And then you can ask them about their mindset. So interesting. Where'd you get that number from? And basically what you want to try to get from that question is, how are they thinking about pricing, right? Have they been in the app development business for 20 years? App development business for 5-6 years, as long as it's been around, and building software so they know their price? Are they BSing you? Why are they thinking that the price is a lot lower than it is? Are they talking to their competitors or to your competitors? What is it? So if your competitors' prices are way too low and they say they're talking to their competitors, you have to tell them why you think that is. So here are the 3 common reasons that you can use to justify your price. One is a higher cost upfront means lower risk. That goes back to one of the very first things we talked about in this video. You can spend $20,000 on an app from a very cheap developer, and you can be 8 months in and have a pile of crap that doesn't work, or something that doesn't match the business value that you're trying to deliver with your application, even because this cheap developer just built what the customer asked for instead of what the customer needed. So higher cost upfront means lower risk. If you're paying $150 an hour versus $50 an hour, you're going to get developers that have built similar apps to yours in the past. You're going to get developers that understand build versus buy, right? What parts of this application are we using from third parties versus what are we building ourselves? And what does that actually mean? And all of that goes into higher cost. The next one is they've never developed an app before, so they don't know what it costs. This is the second reason a customer might be pushing back on price. They don't know what an application should go for. In this case, you have to explain to them the complexity of an app. So let's say they want an Instagram clone. And they come to you and they're like, hey, I want to build an Instagram clone and I've got $5,000 for it. Well, you can sit them down and actually make it more complicated than they're seeing it. So, okay, for an Instagram clone, is that iOS or Android? And then they'll probably say both if they're new to this. Okay, so that's a custom native development on iOS, and it's custom development on Android. Plus, you're going to need an API so that both can pull the same data set. That's going to be linked to a database that we're going to have to custom build. And that's UI UX designs on both of them to make sure that they both look native to their operating system. Because you can use similar designs, but not the exact same designs on iOS and Android. So that's extra design work there. Plus, we want to do some research up front with users. So that's going to increase the value of the app as well. Doing research on users is going to help make sure that all the features we build are features that people actually need in the application. So now you've taken a $5,000 app and you've grown it, right? Like you've added all of these layers that they're going to need for a successful business anyway. So it's not like you're bullshitting or you're upselling them on nothing. That's stuff that they actually need, and it also increases the value, right? If I sold an Instagram clone like that, that is a $25 to $50 or even $100,000 app versus a $5,000 app that the customer is presenting. So if they don't know what an app costs, you can help them see it by expanding and showing them a little bit more of what's going to go into the application itself. And then the third one is they might just have too many features, right? They're coming to you with a full fleshed out app when really they just want an MVP. One of my friends was asking me for an intro to a developer recently, and I asked him what the app was, and he showed me this application that had artificial intelligence capabilities. It had like all of these features. It was like a $350,000 app, maybe even more. Some of the stuff might not even have been buildable. And in that case, he went to my dev friend, and my developer almost laughed him out of the room, gave him this high price. My friend ended up pissed off because he couldn't get a price for the app he wanted. So in that case, what we did is we sat down with him, and what I did at Dom and Tom and what you guys should do with your clients, if they're coming in crazy, ask them about why they picked each feature, right? Pick the feature that you know in your heart is going to cost the most money. For us, it was the AI platform, and ask them why they have that in there. What's the business value of that feature? And they'll come back, they'll say, oh yeah, the AI needs to be there because XYZ, like these customers need it. I've talked to like 10 customers, they all want to build this app, this specific feature. And then you can say, okay, if these 10 customers want to build it and they're willing to pay, then you should be able to pay for development on it, right, to build the app. And then if he says something like, oh yeah, that's just something I think would be cool. I think it's going to be very necessary for the business, but I haven't really tested it. Then you can tell them to go out and talk to customers and test it, or you can dig into other features and try to figure out what's higher priority, right? You can do this in like 15, 20 minutes. It's better to do it over like a week or two in a discovery session, but quickly you'll find if you dig in that not every feature in the app is necessary. And from this, let's say you pitched that the entire app is $500,000 and he only has $300,000, you can pretty quickly figure out what features need to be pulled out of an application to reduce the price by $200,000. Sometimes it's eliminating Android and only building on iOS. Sometimes it's removing an artificial intelligence feature or image recognition or something crazy that clients like to throw in. So reducing the feature set. If you need marketing support for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. Like this video to encourage this type of content, and follow this channel, subscribe for more B2B sales training. All right, I'll talk to you later.